This is the Primaris Chief Apothecary that I made. I really like the chapter command system for Space Marines, especially in the context of building up a Crusade army. So to help those upgraded units stand out, I did this little conversion. Here's how I did it, and I hope you find it entertaining and inspiring.
We may not win today, gentlemen, but we'll have a good time.
The base of this conversion is the Primaris Captain in the Indomitus box set. I got that model assembled to the point that you see here, and I trimmed off the peg that fixes the head in a certain position so I'd be able to pose it how I wanted once I got it assembled. And I also took off the iron halo from the backpack because the Apothecary doesn't have that ability, and it was going to get in the way of some of the arms, like the surgical arms and the equipment that I wanted to put on the backpack, so I had to trim it off for both of those reasons. So here's a picture of the other pieces that I used to make this model. On the left I have some pieces from the Imperial Fists upgrade sprue. There's one bit that looks like, to me, it's kind of like a medal or some kind of honor of some kind that's kind of draped in ropes. There's the Imperial Fists. I don't know exactly what this is called, this little shield thing that goes over the front arm. Bonus points if you know what the name of that is. Let me know in the comments. I am just really curious. I tried to look that up and I could not find anything about what its like actual name is. And then there's also this like scanning equipment that's going to go in the backpack. And I used the bolt pistol arm because we're going to be doing an arm swap for the right arm. Two pieces at the top and the middle are alternate pieces from the regular Primaris Apothecary. They're the ones that I didn't use for my regular guy, so I wanted to make use of them here. At the bottom in the middle of the picture is a chain fist from a Terminator set. I really love the idea that this chain fist is part weapon, part surgical equipment. I don't know why, that just tickles me. It feels very 40k. But that is kind of actually one of the pieces that really made me kind of think about putting this whole conversion together. At the top right, this is the old loader arm for the missile launcher guy on the tactical squad. If you get, I believe the new sets, that's actually one piece with the backpack, so if you got a new set, you might have to try to cut that away. I'm sure that's doable, but I think it would be pretty tough, and I think you would need to do some green stuff work or something to kind of patch up the side that it had to get cut away from. So if you can get your hands on the old kit, it's just nice to have that arm all ready to go. There's literally nothing else you have to do but like clean up mold lines for it. And then the last few pieces, for an apothecary, I wanted to have some satchels and some packs for whatever kind of things he might be carrying on. It was like a field medic, and I don't remember exactly what those came from. There's also some purity seals. I mean, those I think are like in just about every troops or bits that you probably are drowning in them if you're a Space Marines player. And one other thing I forgot to get into the picture, later on I kind of decided to go with the Gravis or Aggressor pauldron to match. The captain already has like that type of pauldron on his right arm, and I'm going to use the upper part of that right arm. So since I had this already with the Imperial Fist upgrade sprue, I thought it kind of matched a little bit better, and it just was kind of nice to have that symbol there, so customizes it for the chapter a little bit better. So once I had that base all put together, like I said, from the Indomitus Captain, I got out my set of bits that I keep in this tin. This is like my new favorite thing to keep pieces in. I got this this last Christmas from my mother-in-law, and it just had like little candies in it that were like the color and the shape of the purple buttons on the SNES controller. And I just love having a place to kind of collect these bits as I'm thinking about a conversion, and I had them in a different thing, and I think from now on, like the immediate conversion that I'm going to do, I'm going to start keeping them in this tin because I just kind of love it. Got the captain glued up, and I cleaned up that iron halo on the backpack. So here's one of the bigger things that that I had to do to make this conversion work. I'm going to use the hobby saw here, and I'm trying to take off the power sword arm for this Indomitus Captain. And to make this look good, I went flush, like underneath this little flare, or this little bit that comes down in the center of the pauldron. And I wanted to come clean across that, because leaving that bit intact, I think, is going to hide this join a little bit. So if you don't kind of have the cleanest cut, it's going to make it kind of hard to detect. So at first I kind of cut across just right below that point. Now I'm coming straight down behind that piece of the pauldron that juts out, and I'm just going to come straight down behind it and then come from the other side as well to make like a 90-degree notch behind that piece, and that's just going to be the upper shoulder where we make the join later. Then I just kind of eyed up where the bolt pistol arm needed to be cut to make that join. And once I kind of knew where it needed to be, I just made a nice straight cut using the hobby saw again. Little plastic glue. You can kind of see here now that we make that join, that piece of the pauldron is going to be on the outside. And if it's not quite so crisp, it's just going to cover it up. Next is to add this surgical drill piece to the chain fist arm, and I just kind of picked a spot in the center that I kind of thought looked good. I drilled into it with this hand drill, and I just picked a drill bit size that was like exactly the same size as a little knob where this would usually attach to the Apothecary, and that just made this a super easy join. Once you make a hole that's the same size or even a little bit bigger, plastic glue is just going to seat that piece perfectly. And there's a little close-up. I know it's just a tiny little piece, but I think having that on there really hints at the suggestion that the chain fist doubles as medical equipment in the field, and I love that idea. So then over his right backpack arm, I took the other alternate piece from that Apothecary set, and all I did was cut away a little bit on the underside to round it enough to meet the backpack in a good place. Really, as long as you're making 2 points of contact, if you round it out a little bit more than you need, as long as those 2 points are making contact, I think the plastic glue is going to bond it just fine. But just kind of go slow until you get a good fit. And then, like I said before, that missile launcher arm is pretty much just ready to go. It has a hole in it already, and the rim of that hole just will fit against the side of the left backpack piece. So I just plastic glued that and fitted it kind of where I wanted in place. And then instead of that generic shield thing, I added the Imperial Fists specific one. Once I got that glued in place, I used that metal that seemed to be kind of hanging from a bunch of rope and glued it up underneath behind it. I think really the easiest thing is just to take a look in this picture. I just used tweezers to kind of help seat it up behind that shield. And here's just some other pictures of once I got everything kind of glued together, so you can get a little better look at how all those pieces came together. And here's a little 360 shot, again, just to kind of see what the finished state was, where all the pieces went in kind of a good clear picture. This is just primed. So once you've got it all assembled there, it's just a matter of painting it up. And obviously I made my guy an Imperial Fists guy, but you could swap out the pauldron and that shield piece that goes in front of the shoulder for just the generic ones and paint it up for whatever chapter you want. There's one painting tip that I want to offer up that kind of clicked for me while painting this guy. My regular Primaris Apothecary has the yellow for Imperial Fists, and I used a warm white to do his armor, building up from like brown in the recesses and warmer off-white tones. But with the Chief Apothecary, I used a cool white, building up from navy blue in the recesses and cool off-white tones. And I realized that this gave him a crisper contrast, not like a light and dark contrast, but kind of a contrast between warmth and coolness. In a way, I feel like the regular Apothecary is just a little bit washed out with warm colors, and that this way is just a little more pleasing to the eye, at least to my eye. It's not that this is like a right or wrong thing, a way to use colors, but it's something I realized and really liked after it was done, so I wanted to highlight what I learned for anyone else who likes the look and wants to give it a try. And that is the build. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you some inspiration. If you like the conversion, I'm going to probably look at the rest of the chapter command upgrades for my Imperial Fist guys just over time, because I think that would be kind of cool to have those for when you go that route, that you have a different model for it. It just kind of strikes me as being a fun thing to work on. So if you're interested in that or other conversion things I think I'm going to kind of work on, let me know. Give the video a like or leave a comment down below if that's something that you're kind of interested in seeing, and I'll make sure to try to hit those videos up pretty soon. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.